30-minute rule? I bet you don't. At least you're not sure unless you tune into this session. But if this episode will help you or somebody you love, do you know someone who could use this information today? Share this episode with them. One person? That's all I'm asking. All right. Now, here's a few things before we begin. This podcast used to be called the Stroke Folk Show. And it was a good name, but it wasn't the right name. And folks told me or told you who you are, but Thrivors tells me how you live. That difference means a lot to me, yes, and I believe it means a lot to you. And so welcome to the Stroke Thrivors podcast. Same mission, same fire, stronger fire. And yes, the heart of the old show still lives on my YouTube channel at Stroke Thrivors. So check out that. So maybe you've asked, many of you have asked, why do I do this? The honest answer is simple. Through a. So first, it helps me practice. Yes. Way back when I was first in the first year after the strokes, and I was in an outpatient setting, I had a stroke therapist, and she was great, and she was graduating me from her program, and she just said, you have to go out and speak more with the public. And I didn't really understand what she meant. And fast forward over 11 years, I started, I needed to go out, and I started to post videos of myself on social media. And now, 4 years almost, I've been helping and perfecting, and I still get a little bit sharper. And people have told me I'm getting better. So, second, I'm always deeply curious, and so when I come across something which I find is interesting, that grabs me, I want to pass it along with you. And the third, it's one of the places that I can share what's on my heart and mind, that I can share with you. So those are just the things that I can imagine that helps me and helps you do this weekly podcast. So, all right. And if you want more support beyond the podcast, I have 2 books available right now: Stroke Survivors, First Aid Kit, and the Word Search for Recovering Book, Volume 1. And here's a picture of them. So, and you can find those by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/stroke-books. And you do that, and that will give you the books. So, anyways, and then if you want to go further, way back when, I used to call myself Stroke Survivor. And then I started to get this feeling, the thought that I should think about something more than surviving. And so I did, and in fact, I commissioned people to pen my ideas. The stroke thriver, that's surviving is just staying status quo, but thriving means go further up. And so, for example, I have one of the designs. I'm a stroke thriver, but I'm allowed to do weird things. But that's just one example. The issue is when people like you or I wear our designs out in the public, then people go, huh, that's interesting. Tell me more. Tell me more about Stroke Thriver. And you can tell them about what you're doing more than just being a survivor. And the other thing it does, it tells you two things. It does that. You can talk about what you're finding. It can be more. And second, it's an opportunity to talk about stroke prevention. That's huge. So if you want to look at those designs, you can get them if you want. You can type in your browser tinyurl.com/stroke-designs. Check it out. All right. And one last thought, babe, before we begin on this session is from a previous session way back when. Here's something worth holding on to. Real change, the kind that lasts, happens when your words, your brain and body, and your actions comes into alignment. Not once, not twice, repetitively. The repeated effort is where the rewiring in your brain happens. So let's jump into today's topic, the 30-minute rule every stroke thriver needs to know, and probably everybody else. And so researchers have been looking closely at what actually moves the needle in stroke recovery, and the one finding keeps showing up that most people aren't talking about enough: how long you sit without moving. Man, I know as a host of your podcast, this isn't really a good example, but two reasons. I make my podcast short, and you can listen to it while you walk or things like that. But really, this it's really important that you understand. It's how not how often you move, but how often you move is better than nothing. For example, if I just sit here for hours at an end, that's a problem. But if I sit here for 15 or 30 minutes, most 45, then I get up. Then I go over. I drink some water. I do something different than sitting. It's better. And this is separate from my step count, which I used to be really focused on than I have been for the last couple of years. But it's separate from my therapy sessions, sitting for extended periods, even on a day when you exercise, puts a brake on recovery. That's huge. Did you hear me? Cardiovascular health, brain function, muscle tone, all take a hit when you stay still too long at a time. So here's the picture that the research is painting. Stroke thrivers who've moved consistently throughout the day have not just structured exercise, they have better outcomes. So step goals helped, coaching helped, home practice helped, but breaking up sitting time showed up as its own powerful variable. So, for example, even if I talk and decide, well, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to stretch, then I get down, and then I sit down. That's better than just sitting all the time. So think about it, what that means practically. If you're a thriver who does morning exercises faithfully, but then sits for 5 or 6 hours in a row, you're leaving real recovery on the table. So, and if you're a caregiver or a loved one, watching the stroke patient sit for long stretches between therapy visits, this is your permission slip to interrupt it. So tell them, get up, change positions, stretch. Even though this is better than just sitting. So even though I do this while I'm sitting, it's better to do it than don't move. So just remember, gently, lovingly, interrupt it for yourself or for another one. But the target the research points to is simple. Stand up or what you can. Let's say you're in a wheelchair. Even with your upper body moves every 30 to 45 minutes. Say it with me, 30 to 45. Write it on a sticky note, set a phone timer, make it your new rhythm. And basically, make it through the day, every 1 to 2 times an hour. If that makes it easier, make sure that you it's better for you if you do it. So it doesn't have to be a walk around the block, a lap to the kitchen, to the bathroom. That's huge. Seated lift, great. Even if you don't lift a leg, but you lift your knees. That's a huge. So arm raises. Maybe I can only use really one side of my body yet, but it helps that I move. So any movement that breaks the stillness counts. Did you hear me? Counts. So the rule is not about how far or how hard, it's about how often. So 30 to 45 minutes. Time to take a break and stretch and move. So just every time you can do that through the day, it will make more difference for you than doing it heavy and hard in the morning and then sitting the rest of the day. So for thrivers with limited mobility, modified movements absolutely counts. Shifting weight, standing briefly at a counter, rolling your wrist and ankles if you can move them. If it's only one side, you can do it more. On the other side, you can still visualize it, and they have shown that in studies, the research, that it's the same. It's better than nothing. Because telling your mind, even though it doesn't enter, even though you can't see the results, you still initiate signals in your brain, and that rewires it. So, in caregivers or loved ones, your role here is real. A gentle nudge every 30 to 45 minutes is a genuine recovery tool. So you don't need a medical degree to say, hey, let's stand up for a minute, or let's roll your wheelchair for a minute. Every moment helps when you're moving or when you're changing positions. So recovery happens in the clinic, and it happens in the living room, the kitchen, the hallway, every hour of your day. So stand up. Your brain is waiting for you. So in gratitude and grit, remember, you're a thriver. That's V as in victory. O